Hello everybody, my name is Kylon3639. Welcome back to another video. Today in this one, it's another video on the top 5 meta decks in February 2021 post Blazing Vortex. Yes, Blazing Vortex didn't change that much to the meta. There's no new archetypes that came out of that set that's immediately going to change the meta, just like Phantom Rage and Genesis Impact did. But there was some more support for decks that are already in the meta that just got way more support to make them even better. So that is what we're going to cover with that. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Before we get into the meta decks, I want to cover some meta cards that I've been seeing a lot of play in just basically any deck that can make them. First card is Zeus, and there's no fucking reason why. This card is stupid powerful, non-destruction, non-targeting removal to send everything to the graveyard. It's not a once per turn, so if they try to negate it and you have multiple materials, you can send it. Just, oh my god, this card is so fucking stupid. Yeah, it's just like, god, man, this card is so good. If you can make an XYZ in your deck, you might as well make an XYZ so you can go into Zeus later on. Look at Drytrons. They don't really need their extra deck because they're more of a ritual-based kind of thing, but they're a deck that just decides to make Zeus when they want to. They figured out they can go Assembled Nightingale, the Downward Magician, to go straight into Zeus because of how powerful this card is. It's like, god. And then the Zodiac Eldlich makes this even more fucking stupid by making just 6 materials with the Zeus. It's just really, really stupid. This card is fucking amazing. You can say it needs to be hit on the ban list. It's just too new to me to even do that. It's a good, very, very good card that if you haven't picked up yet, you should probably pick up. Yes, it's kind of like $50 to $60 range now, but like, god, this card is so good. I think it's worth that just because of how good this card is. So yeah, that's one of the cards for my meta cards. Next meta card up is Dragoon. Yes, this is a really good card. Holy shit. It has built-in protection that can get... So basically, it's built-in protection, can't be targeted nor destroyed, so the only thing it can be is sent to the graveyard by something like a Zeus effect. But it also has, during your turn, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls, then inflict damage equal to its original... I think it has to be original attack. Which is really stupid. And then it has a negation effect, where a quick effect... you can discard one card and negate the activation of a card effect, and if you do, destroy it. Like, holy shit, this is really stupid. There's the decks that out there playing 3 Red Eyes Fusion and then Red Eyes Insight just so they can pull out Dragoon because of how good this card is. It hasn't been abused yet. Things like what our next entry will be, and then Zeus, which is slowly getting abused. It hasn't been up to that just yet, but it will once a ban list hits I think the next entry. Then I think this Dragoon will start getting abused. It hasn't been abused just yet, but if you haven't picked up this card, go pick up this card. And if you have, pick up the Red Eyes Fusion. People have been playing 3 Red Eyes Fusion. All people have also been playing Verte and Anaconda, so they can pull out the Dragoon. It's just been, this card has been stupid. People are going to or they are kind of abusing it now. But once, I should probably just say it, VFD gets hit, then I think Dragoon is going to shoot up there without a problem. So that is that meta card. Speaking of VFD, he is my last meta card in this format. Holy shit, if your deck can make VFD, you might as well and go fucking do it. Holy shit. So this, basically, if you don't know, once returned during either player's turn, detach 1 XC material from this card, declare an attribute, cards on the field become that attribute, and then cards with that attribute cannot activate their effects in your opponent's possession. So if you declare light, so all their monsters will become light and they can't activate light, of course, on field. But in hand, if they're originally light, then they can't activate it from hand either, which is really, really stupid. The reason why Virtual World is a freaking tier 1 deck right now, because of how good this fucking card is and how fucking good they can pull out VFD without a problem. Dinosaur players have been now figuring out ways to gain the true King of all calamities because of how fucking good this card is. And for Noble Knights, it used to be a tier 1 deck before Link Ross got hit. all of a sudden went into the true King of all calamities form, because it's just they figured out if they can make it, they might as well go to it so they can keep that deck into the rogue status. Yeah, if your deck can make true King of all calamities, you're probably going to be making true King of all calamities because of how fucking stupid it is. It deserves to be banned, but still not banned yet, and I think it's the top card in this format. So that is it for the meta cards. Now let's get into the top 5 decks. Starting with number 5, which is an interesting choice from me, but I'm going to stick with it. It is Dragon Link. Yes, this deck, my bad, got hit in the last ban list with Link Cross getting banned, but there was no LP hit, or there was a Buster Blader hit as well that prevented their Buster Locks from extra deck. But now there's still a deck that can thrive. If you let them go off, they can build a lot of stuff. They can go into Appa. They can still get the Boral Sword. They can do a lot of stuff. This deck can now make Dragoon because of fucking Verte Anaconda. They can easily pull out Verte without a problem. And it's just like they are just basically, they can still play at the potential they can be at. Not as much as in the last format, but it can still do stuff if you do not stop it. Yes, this deck kind of can play through a negation, but I think 2 or 3 negations is a little too much for it. And it is at number 5 because the decks above it can, without a doubt, play through whatever they're doing. It's just, man, I can't believe Dragon Link is still here to this day, even after its best competition has left the format, and the competition that the verse now is not so favorable to Dragon Link. But I think it's still a good number 5. I even predicted this after the ban list was that Dragon Link was going to somehow stick in the meta, and that's what happened. It's not the best deck, it's not even top 3 or anything, but I think it's good enough for number 5. They can pull out so many things. If you let them go off, then you're kind of screwed. So yeah, that is my number 5. Coming in at number 4 is Dinosaurs. Now, some people might argue this should be a little higher, not, should be number 3 at least, but I'm going to put it at number 4. This deck is still very good, but it does no longer have its best matchups, which used to be in for Noble Knights and Dragon Link. They are no longer in existence. Well, Dragon Link is, but it ain't as good as it used to be compared to the last format. And Dinos used to be their fucking, best thing. They can win without a problem against Infernobles and stuff like that. With them out of the format, they haven't seen that much success. Yes, they're still a very, very good deck. Miscellaneous is stupid. UTC is still fucking stupid. They figured out ways to get into VFD because their deck can do that. They used to do it, and there's a reason why they won the World Championship in 2017, and the reason why that one Synchro is still currently banned, but it's whatever. Yeah, but it's just compared to the other 3 decks I have at the top of the list, I think the other 3 decks are just slightly better than what Dinos are. These next 4 you can argue, well, I don't know. These 4 and 3 you can probably argue you can switch places or whatever, but I do have Dinos at number 4. It's still a very comparable deck. It can still do a lot of stuff, but compared to the other 3 I have, I think at 4 is fine. It's better than Dragon Link, but everything else, I think it's a little bit lower. It can still put up competition against the top 3, but if you gave 100 times, I would say more of the time the top 3 will win against Dinos than Dinos going to win against the top 3. But yeah, it's still a very good deck. It's a very cheap deck as well because most of this came from a structure deck. So if you are on a budget, Dinos is a very, very good way to get into a budget or go into a budget strategy for that because this is a very cheap deck. But yeah, I do have Dinos at number 4. Coming in at number 3, it is Eldlich and all the variants that come with it. This is a very splashable archetype with so many decks, and that's the reason why I put it ahead of Dinosaurs, because this thing is splashable with a shit ton of other archetypes. This archetype will most likely get hit in the next ban list as well, with either a Cursed Outlands hit or a Scarlet Sanguini hit, but it's still a very, very good deck. Zodiac Eldlich is the best variant of the deck. There's still Dogmatica Eldlich, though. There's Twin Eldlich. There's Zombie Eldlich. There's Pure Eldlich. There's so many versions of the deck. There's just like so many. This thing is so splashable. It's basically It's basically Orcus, what Orcus used to be. It's really, really splashable, and holy shit, it's very good. Eldlich, the Golden Lore, fucking just getting a 3,500 attack. Cursed Outlands being able to search and stuff like that. Scarlet Sanguini just being able to summon from deck. It's just really, really good to play this play this archetype with other archetypes like Zodiac. Because the problem with Zodiac was, like, you can play a shit ton of hand traps with it, but you only have the Zodiacs to go off of. So you splash it with Eldlich, it's absolutely amazing because you have two engines now. One can pull out Zeus, one can pull out a 3,500 beat stick that cannot be destroyed by card effects. Pretty good. I do have it at number 3. Now, I did get some support in Blazing Vortex with addition of a Fusion Eldlich and a zombie, or a Fusion spell for the Fusion Eldlich. But that's more for the pure versions and the zombie versions, which aren't the tops right now, which is unfortunate to me to say because I do like the zombie Eldlich version. But I have to say it's more the Zodiac version and the Dogmatica version of Eldlich that sees play because of how good that is. So they're not really using that support that just came out. So yeah, I do have Eldlich at number 3, but let's get straight into number 2. Coming in at number 2 is Drytron. Holy shit, did this archetype make a splash when it came out in Genesis Impact. This only came out 2 months ago, and it's making a hell of a splash right now. Just them being able to abuse Ben 10's non-once per turn tribute effect is really, really stupid right now. They can abuse the Megaliths if they want to. They can go into Herald of Ultimates with multiple fairies in hand, and then have Ava in hand to banish more to get more fairies into their hand. They can still use their extra deck if their ritual monsters all of a sudden disappear. They can start going into extra link monsters, or in aforementioned, they can go into a simple Nightingale and then eventually get into Zeus. This deck is very, very good. Why do I only have it at number 2 though? 1, the deck above it I think is slightly better than it right now. And number 2, this has been since it's so new and how good it was when they came out, this has been a very targeted deck. People have figured out Droll and Lockbird, Cycle Reader, and just so many cards. They just figured out so many cards that stop this. It's been a huge target in the Yu-Gi-Oh community to stop and slow down right now. That's why I have it at number 2, because it just has a big target on its back. So people have been citing a lot of cards to stop this matchup in particular, but it is a very good deck nonetheless. Even with that huge target, sometimes they can still play through the Droll and Lockbird, make the Fucho, or if they're going second, make it into a Zeus if they want to. If they don't get the rituals, they'll go eventually into their Link monsters, go into Boral Sword, Savage Dragon, just get the OTK. This deck is very good, but I do have it at number 2 because 1, it has a huge target, and number 1, I think everyone knows at this point, is slightly better than Drytron. So let's just get straight into the number 1. Coming in at number 1, it's Virtual World, also known as just the VFD engine, because holy shit, this deck can make a lot of VFDs. So yeah, this is at number 1 because of how fucking good it can make VFD. It can pull out double VFD, and how good it can protect the VFD with Chuche. I'll get into the examples just in a second. This did receive more support in Blazing Vortex. It was at number 1 and 2. It was like with Drytrons, it was hovering 1 and 2. They're like neck and neck. But with that new support, it pulls Virtual World into, for sure, number 1 because of how good that support is. Their trap card they just received can basically monster reborn any Virtual World monster from the graveyard, and then their monster they receive can also reborn herself by discarding a Psychic or Worm monsters, which of course you're going to have in this deck because they're all Psychic and Worm monsters, by specifying her, and as a level 6 tuner is pretty good as well. Their new support basically just says, oh, you see Nibiru? Yeah, we're not going to be worrying about that anytime soon because they can play through Nibiru if that happens anyways. So yeah, this win con is basically they pull out double VFD. So if you try to negate one VFD, they'll just go with the other VFD. And the second way is to protect one VFD with Chuche. Chuche is really stupid because any negations besides, I think, Orange Light and Gamma Orange Light and the Drytrons and the Gamma with any other deck besides Drytron can stop. That's like the only negations that can truly stop VFD. But any other negations can be stopped by Chuche because they'll destroy VFD anyways, and then just really, really stupid. There's a reason why Infinite Impermanence kind of fell out of favor, because Infinite cannot stop VFD right now because Chuche can get rid of it and Stuffect can still go through. And even with the Orange Light and Gamma being able to stop it, if they just have double VFD, then it really doesn't matter. So yeah, that is why I do have Virtual Worlds at number 1. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more. I do upload every day except for Sunday. And for the people who are watching and already subscribed, the reason why I didn't upload Saturday is because my internet went down for some reason, so I couldn't upload that day. I was just thinking of maybe uploading Sunday as a makeup, but I just decided we'll just have the 2 days off for that. But I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.